My name is David Upton. I'm an independent curator. I'm currently based in Glasgow. So there's a body of research that I've been coming back to recurrently over the last maybe 6 years that's related to a collection of icons that are held within the National Gallery of Ireland, called the Natasha Allen Collection. I was quite interested in this work in relation to contemporary video art, especially computer-generated moving image work, and how they depict time and space. Icons generally create a space of timelessness through a flatness of image and also a recurrence of form. The title of the exhibition, Colourless, Green Ideas Sleep Furiously, is a quote from Noam Chomsky, his book Syntax Structures from 1957. So in this book, he really kind of broke down how language is constructed and how it's used. How our perception of reality can be changed by language is quite a prominent theme for this exhibition. So this piece is it's a work by a Venezuelan artist called Alessandro Balteo-Yazbeck. For this piece, he worked with an art historian and writer called Media Farzin. The piece it's a topical debate program from 1951 called Chronoscope, which is an American program. To our eyes, how frank and kind of open they are with their opinions is quite shocking when we're so used to politicians and speakers obfuscating what they mean. Here it's quite blunt and kind of eerily reminiscent of how the political landscape appears today. So the work we have on the right is by Ida Lennartson. These images and these sculptural works are based on a Japanese method of bondage. So these ropes are knotted in a way that might be around the human body. But in this context, they take on this almost ritualistic image, but also, I would say maybe even like approaching a religious connotation. These 6 drawings are worked by a Russian painter called Erich Bulatov. When he was studying in Moscow in the 1950s, there was a huge gap in Soviet education. So he wasn't told about the Russian avant-garde, because many of those artists who had really kind of pioneered what we think of now as this Russian revolutionary aesthetic had been purged. A lot of them had lost confidence in their work because it was seen as being counter-revolutionary by the 1950s. So Eric, as a student, sought out some of those surviving artists, such as Robert Falk, Alexander Rodchenko, and others. He continues to live and work in Paris at the moment. So this series of work is since his move to Paris. So this piece is called Rerun. It's by the Rux Media Collective. It's based on a photograph from 1948 by Henri Cartier-Bresson. In 1948, he traveled to China and he happened to photograph a bank run. So the city was about to be taken over by the communists, and the ruling government allowed people to exchange their currency, which was about to become worthless, for 40 grams of gold. So there was such a queue to avail of this that 10 people ended up being killed. But this piece, it was made in 2013. It's obviously influenced by the economic crash. You can see kind of people in various modes of dress, some of which don't conform to that era. So it creates these strange disjunctures, and it seems to collapse the time between these 2 events. So finally, Herlach and Gope have 3 pieces in this exhibition. The first is called Untitled Scatterpiece. The materials are a pearl necklace without the pearls. So this in some ways refers to this cultural memory. I'm sure we've all seen films and cartoons where somebody's necklace is grabbed and the pearls go spilling onto the floor, and there's this sound of bouncing and jumping. But this string is interesting in that it almost seems like a relic of this moment that could never have existed, because these knots in the string would have prevented any of these pearls from spilling.